Hi, everybody. Welcome to the top spells for every level. I'm joined here with the fabulous Jake and Josh Tabletop Brotherinos. They're not brothers, but they're definitely related somehow. And we're going to talk about the top spell. Don't look at me like that. We're going to talk about the top spells for combat specifically. We already did this video, but for utility spells over on the J&J table. So if you want to see more of this kind of content, you should definitely go check them out. These guys are freaking awesome. I'm not looking at my DMs because I will lose it if I do. So we're just going to start this off right now. What's your cantrip, Jake?
Thanks for that introduction. my combat cantrip that I think... I'm not even going to say it gets slept on because I don't think it does. It's Ray of Frost. I'm not overthinking this one. Not only can you make Ray Romano references with it, but you can reduce a creature's speed by 10 feet. And if that means they have to waste their action to dash, and all it took was hitting somebody with a cantrip, I think you're in really good shape.
Anything that attacks and then also does something else, especially if it's a cantrip, that's nice. I'm a big fan of that. What'd you pick, Lee?
I was going to pick Ray of Frost, but I couldn't because the spell exists. I'm a huge fan of, like you said, spells that do multiple things, which is also what my spell choice does with Mind Sliver. This, I feel like, is one of the... Again, I've brought this up a couple times in our other video, but this is kind of like one of those situations where I think power creep kind of plays a little bit in my decision here, because it's a psychic damage to an enemy. As for a cantrip, which is absolutely bananas. It uses intelligence saving throws, which are statistically the worst save amongst all monsters in the entire 5th edition. And if they fail their save, they not only take psychic damage, but they also are affected by effectively Bane until your next turn. All that for the low price of literally free because it's a cantrip.
You can't say it like
Ray of Frost.
Yeah.
You gotta give it to me there. No,
That's... You know what? I take it all back. Ray of Frost, number 1.
It just doesn't have the same ring to it. Mind Sliver. It's just not. That seems to add up to me.
what about first level spells, Lee? What did you pick for that?
My first level spell is the spell Dissonant Whispers. I absolutely love this spell. It is so fun to use. It's, again, I believe it's psychic damage as well as the Mind Sliver, which is, again, fantastic. It's a good chunk of damage. It's wisdom saving throws, so it's not necessarily the best as intelligence saving throws, but that's okay because if they fail, then they just have to move away, I believe, right? They have to move away from you because they're so scared of you, because you whispered spooky things in their ears about, like, I know what you're hiding in your sock drawer, and they're like, and they run away. It's just a fantastic spell that...
He showed you his socks. Hey, you keep a banana for your camera.
I do keep a banana.
One of my favorite things about Dissonant Whispers that you didn't mention is because it's technically not forced movement because they're using their reaction to move, it provokes opportunity attack.
Ooh, I'm writing that down. I didn't even realize that. You're
That
right.
is ridiculous.
I'm writing that down for my next video.
Hey, what would you say that is?
It's bananas.
By the way, if you like myself, Jacob, Lee, obviously you like Lee, this is his channel, and our friend Michael, we're doing a playthrough of Vecna Eve of Ruin so you can see all of us play together and have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with a very simple spell, something that's going to be great from the moment you get it all the way through the end of the game, and it's Shield. I mean, if you have access to pick up Shield and you just need to add 5 to your AC, it's so good. It's just so good. And especially if you're a wizard and you're going up against other wizards and, magic missiles coming your way and you have to make multiple concentration checks and go, maybe not. Maybe I don't have to do that. So, boom.
Literally every class and anyone that has access to spellcasting can make use of Shield. It's just an awesome choice.
It's like, do you ever get attacked?
Try getting attacked under a chandelier.
Try using Shield.
There were 2 things I wanted to ask Lee about that were not D&D related before I got on the video, and I forgot. And then he said pizza, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Talking about this.
I've been getting into violent arguments with people from work about Connecticut pizza.
Boy, I love Connecticut-style pizza.
Never heard this.
What timing? What timing? So those are some fun choices for level 1. Jake, what do you have for your level 2 choice?
My level 2 choice is probably one of the most action economy friendly spells in the entire game, and I chose Spiritual Weapon. You weaponize that bonus action, and it's not concentration. It lasts for an entire minute. It only can move 20 feet on your turn, so there's some limitations there. However, you can upcast it, and every 2 levels above your second level spell slot that you do it, it deals an extra D8 of damage. Very simple. And you can change it into whatever shape you want. You can make it a giant banana if you want.
The best bit, my favorite bit on my entire channel is this banana.
It was ice cream too.
Ice cream too? Is that a bit that I don't know about?
It's just good with ice cream.
Yeah, bananas go good with ice cream.
Yeah, I can argue with that. Okay. You know what else goes good with ice cream? Your choice for a second level. You just said these. Well done.
Oh, anyways, my choice for a second level spell is Rhymes Binding Ice. This is a great spell. I think Jake and I both kind of, when we were talking about our list, this spell came up for both of us. Yeah, and again, we go back to this thing that we've all mentioned. Every spell thus far, it's a spell that does multiple things. It does cold damage to a radius of people, and it can freeze them in place, making their movement speed zipperino.
That brings us to third level spells, and for fans of both of our channels, I hope you picked what I think you picked for your third level spell. What did you pick, Lee?
Here we go. I chose the wonderful spell Spirit Guardians.
Oh, not Spirit Shroud?
Interesting.
No. That's the bit I hate the most on this channel. Spirit Guardian is great. It's an amazing spell. And that bit didn't just come forth because I mixed the 2 of the spells up and now I just have to live with it. But anyways.
It's out there now.
It's out. It's all gone. I don't do it. Yeah, Spirit Guardian's great. It's the 50-foot radius spell where anything in that area takes damage, the movement speed slowed. Honestly, same thing. Double effect. Damage, slows them. It's just such a good spell, especially if you're like a tanky cleric and you get up in someone's face with this spell. Like, you're not going anywhere. Like, you're not stuck. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. If you want to know more about Spirit Guardians, they made a video about it. And while a lot of the points they made were completely ridiculous, they did make good points about the spell itself. So that's worth checking out.
Well, Lee, I think we need to slow things down a bit with my choice because my favorite third level combat spell is Slow. You can alter time around up to 6 creatures in a 40-foot cube within 120 feet. This can absolutely decimate the action economy of your enemies. Their speed is halved, -2 penalty to AC and Dex saves. They have no reactions. It can only use either an action or a bonus action on their turn, not both. And regardless of their creature's magic abilities or magic items, it can't ever make more than 1 melee or ranged attack during its turn. Also, if a creature attempts to cast a spell using its action, it has to roll a d20, and only on an 11 or higher do they get that spell off that turn. I mean, yes, they can make wisdom saving throws round over round and try and get out of it, but if this works for 2, maybe 3 rounds, the fight's over.
Can I just say I'm proud of you both for not choosing Fireball or Lightning Bolt? Great choices all around. Like I said, I am proud of you both for that Fireball and Lightning Bolt thing. Made it more interesting. 4th level spell, what you got?
Well, I'm actually picking the same exact spell I chose for our utility spell.
Spoilers.
My choice for 4th level combat spell is Polymorph. It's a backdoor heal. If a creature is low on hit points, you could turn them into anything that their CR or that their level is of CR, right? So if someone is, I think, what is it, level 8 or 9? I forget exactly which one the T-Rex is, or a giant ape.
I think it's 9.
You could just give them over 100 hit points of an extra pool of hit points. And
tiny little arms.
Tiny little arms, but you got some big teeth. It's 12 damage. It's so stupid. So good. And if not, out comes that tail and knock you over.
The thing is with Polymorph, and I think I should clarify this with the video, right, is when we were talking about the qualifying factors for what qualifies a combat spell versus a utility spell, we specified that the main purpose of the spell is to be used in combat. Polymorph is one of those spells that's like, it's just ambiguous. I'm pretty sure it's one of the only spells that is so openly ambiguous like this. Polymorph's great, but move over, because you want to talk about the best combat spell of the entire freaking game? Let's talk about Greater Invisibility, okay? This spell has almost single-handedly ruined every single freaking combat encounter I've ever had when it's been used in it, okay? You or a creature you touch becomes invisible for a minute or until the spell ends, and anything you wear is also invisible. Now, just to clarify for everybody, invisibility. You are invisible, all of your attacks have advantage, no creature can see you, and you can make stealth checks for just freaking willingly for free. Attacks against you have disadvantage. All of this stuff is true. Now, throw this on top of a rogue, throw this on top of anything, and they make a stealth check, they're gone. Sorry, friends. They're not finding them again. And then guess what? They got advantage stabbing in the back for 27 damage at level, well, maybe not 27. Maybe we're like 47 by the time you get this spell. But still, you get the point. It's a 4th level spell that is literally a single sentence. And that single sentence does more for combat, certain kinds of combat, than Fireball. There, I said it. It's a great spell. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's overrated, and I'll keep saying it on this channel until the day this channel dies, which is never.
I feel it's my duty to, one, say I find your lack of conjure woodland beings disturbing. You could summon a sea hag.
I've got a whole bunch of pixies, each with
Polymorph. Yeah, exactly. And I also want to say that I think your combat choices are lame as hell because they're both utility choices. But, you know.
Greater Invisibility is literally combat, or there's invisibility and there's greater invisibility, okay? Invisibility is utility. Greater invisibility is combat utility, okay? Get at me in the comment section.
No, I mean they both are great options. You could do a lot of damage and have a lot of fun with both of those. Which brings us to our 5th level spells. So, Lee, what'd you choose for 5th level?
This one was really rough for 5th level, and I really hesitated to pick this spell, just because it's so infrequently used and so hard to get access to. But as far as the cool factor is concerned, it is by far one of the coolest visual spells, I think, in the game. And that would be Steel Wind Strike. Okay? Now, Josh is like, oh, wait, ranger spell? Wait a minute. See his eyebrows going a mile a minute. This spell, you can make a weapon attack against up to, Josh, fill me in, 5 creatures. And on a hit, they take 6d10 damage. Now, For the people who aren't mathematicians out there, that is, if you hit all of them, 35 d10 worth of damage for a 6th level or a 5th level spell slot. The reason I was hesitant to pick it is because it is a ranger spell, and rangers don't really get access to it until so late in the game. And while wizards can technically pick it up, I don't know a wizard that would ever want to pick this spell up, right? Because, maybe, I don't know. I'm not super well-versed in that kind of stuff. But there's like one subclass of wizard that would really want this, right?
Every Blade Singer fan is going to come right down to the comment section, but
excuse me, actually, Blade Singing is the way to go because it's the best wizard subclass there is.
Get at me in the comment section. But honestly, I think the whole, like, nothing personnel kid behind, like, 5 different people is just too cool to not bring up.
Yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned it. You might have. Indy's been being crazy this whole time. You also teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of one of the creatures you attack, which just adds the... I guess we didn't talk about it on this video, but in the other video on the J&J channel, we had talked about how much all of us love teleport spells and spells that do multiple things. So this kind of... both of those buckets, which is always
so
nice.
Fun. It's so cool.
What could you possibly have to compete with the ranger spell, Jake?
I got teacher pet points.
see, the ability to strike opponents is nothing compared to the power of the Force. And I chose Wall of Force. Creates an invisible wall of force that springs into existence. You could put a hemispherical dome over someone. You could just effectively say, you don't exist in this combat. Or this whole thing is just, no. There's so many things you can do with this. It's creative, but I think the strongest and most powerful application of this spell is just eliminating at least one or entire groups of enemies from being able to participate in combat. It's the ultimate combat control.
Unless you can teleport, like Steel Wind Strike. Nothing personnel, kid.
I was going to try and say something snarky, and I was like, well, no, it's this creature you can see. It's an invisible wall, so we're good.
For our 6th level choices, I think this is what I said last time. We're getting into the big leagues now. Jake, what'd you choose?
I think this is one of my favorite spells in the game, and I have never been in a situation where I've used it, but I really want to someday. I think Sunbeam is just so much fun. For an entire minute, you could do a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line of basically a radiant laser beam. Just do 68 radiant damage. And on a failed saving throw, the targets are all blinded until your next turn. That checks the box of damage. It checks the box of AoE. It checks the box of also a damaging or hindering condition that you can inflict on this. And you could do some serious work with this bad boy.
I think the fact that its concentration is worth mentioning as well. You did kind of mention it, but you kind of glazed over a little bit. This lasts a minute. You can just do this every round for an entire minute. So Sunbeams, it's just so good. It doesn't do the most damage in comparison to other 6th level spells, but the fact it makes up for that with the blinded condition and the fact that it lasts over an entire minute, right? Like there's it's just so strong. Yeah, exactly. This is Iron Man this. For my 6th level spell, I went a little bit more damage heavy oriented with the instantaneous casting spell with Chain Lightning. It is visually a fun spell. It is a fun spell to cast. Everything about it is just great. Plus it deals a snikey ton of damage. 150-foot range, so you can just bop one person like 150 feet away, which is huge range. And then you can just zap 3 other creatures for 10d8 damage on a failed save. That is a lot. As far as damage is concerned, for a 6th level spell, I think that's the highest 6th level spell damaging spell in a single round at least. And it's just like you can choose what targets it hits. So if you know a target is more dexterous, if you're fighting like bad example, but if you're fighting goblins and one of them is like a goblin rogue or a goblin ninja, you can specifically avoid that one and choose another one who's not so dexterous, right? I think as far as damage is concerned, as far as the visual is concerned, as far as, my own, I don't know what the word I'm trying to look for is, my own personal, oh my God, what's the word? The thing,
Bias.
bias. Thank you. My own bias is concerned. Chain Lightning is a fantastic spell and probably my favorite 6th level.
I think both of those are incredible choices. And really, the 6th level slot, I think, has a lot to offer. There's a lot of really fun ones here. Like, off the top of my head, Harm, all the investiture, I guess.
Those are really fun.
Yeah, those are a blast. And they have, like, for each element, they have one.
Disintegrate sounds, it's a level 6 spell too.
Disintegrate is a level 6 spell. So yeah, I missed that one. That's incredible too. And Otto's Irresistible Dance. Like, there's a lot of really good choices.
And Lee, do an Irish jig for us in this case.
I'll put it in that box. So I'll put it in that box over there.
With that, we have our 7th level choices. Lee, what did you choose for 7th level?
Like I mentioned in the video on your guys' channel, once you get to like 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, it gets to slim picking because they're all such good spells. But for this one, I actually chose Draconic Transformation. And you effectively transform into a dragon. You don't really transform into a dragon, but you get different features based upon, when you cast it. So you get Blind Sight up to a certain range. You get literal wings and a breath weapon. So while you're not necessarily a dragon, you gain effectively, like, pseudo-dragon features. And they're not an adult red dragon breath weapon, but you get to do it as a bonus action. So a 30-foot cone of 68 fire damage, or actually it's force damage, which is very important to specify, for a bonus action is crazy. We were talking about weaponizing your bonus actions as early as the 2nd level slot with Spiritual Weapon, as well as a fly speed of 60 feet. You effectively get another spell effect. You get Dragon's Breath and a better Dragon's Breath. You get a fly spell effect on top of you, and you get Blind Sight. So it's like you're casting 3 spells on yourself at once. It's just a fantastic spell.
Like, you turn into a dragoon in Legend of Dragoon. And if anyone knows that reference, let's be friends. Comment if you've played that game.
The one guy, I did.
It sucked.
The one guy that played it is like, I don't want to be friends with anyone that likes that game. Like,
oh, man. Jake, what did you choose?
Well, I loved Wall of Force at level 5, and so I'm continuing my Force theme and going with Force Cage, which basically just levels it up to now spells can't go in and out. If you want to use magic to, like, teleport away or do things like that, like, they have to succeed on a charisma saving throw. But it's not concentration, and it lasts for an entire hour. If you're a dungeon master, actually, and you use this on an actual PC, you're being a jerk. If you're a dungeon master and you use it on one of their allies that you're controlling, that's a different story. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things that it's like, it's so cheesy. I actually almost feel a little icky picking it, but it's so powerful because it just removes, the point of combat is to remove combatants from the field. And this does that.
As we near the end, what's your 8th level spell choice?
Well, I got a hot take on this one. Incendiary Cloud. This is a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point within 150 feet, so it starts out very similar to Fireball. You can move it, and any creature that starts inside of it takes 10d8 damage. This is it's just damage over time in a massive radius. If you wanted to be a spellcaster and just literally take out entire squads of enemies, here you go. If you have a big bad, this is just going to keep the heat on them. I know fire damage is usually resisted more than others, but even resistance at 10d8, fire damage is still 5d8 every round, and you still have your action to follow it up with as long as you're concentrating on it. So,
nope, it's a hard pass for me. You know why? Because it gets countered by Gust of Wind. Jake, I expected better from you, man.
I suppose you have a good pick then?
I mean, yeah, of course I have a great pick. One that I'm going to tell you right now that I'm looking for. I chose Sunburst. It's effectively like a blinding radiance circle around you. Sunburst, but not sunburst. Sunbeam, but sunburst, right? In a large area around you. So it's just not as much damage as an Incendiary Cloud would do over the entire minute, but you get all that damage out, and it blinds creatures. And it's not countered by the wind.
Well, if I get my enemy to use their action to cast Gust of Wind, I don't think that's as big of a loss as perhaps you are making it sound like.
Fair. That's a fair point, I suppose.
What do you think in the comment section? Tell us. We both are crazy.
For these 8th level spells, I was looking through, like, there's got to be some better spells than this. Like, there's
I was pretty disappointed with the level list.
Yeah, there really wasn't that many good ones.
Dominate beast. My gosh, monster. Dominate monster is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a ton of choices. It's just weird.
Easy for me. It's bananas.
Have you ever made an 8th level spell, Lee?
I have made an 8th level spell, my friend, the real Josh T. In fact, I have made multiples of them. You can check those out in the playlist linked in the description below. There's over 100 spells available for free. Wow! Act now and get 6 subclasses as well. It's crazy.
All it costs is an action. Clicking on the link.
Exactly.
This is the finale, right? This is your 9th level choice. And we're going right to Lee. What did you pick?
There's no other option if you're talking about combat, right? Like, we have to go with the Meteor Swarm. I mean, you could go with a couple of other options, but Meteor Swarm, man, it just feels good to cast. Man, I had my last combat encounter with my campaign ended the other day. I got to cast Meteor Swarm frickin' twice. It was so good. Oh, and when you say it too, like, he cast Meteor Swarm. Use the base. The color just drains from the bases of the players that are looking up at these meteors. It's just, I don't even have to tell you what it does. You know what it does. And you know that if you were on the receiving end of that, you would wish to be anywhere but. So, Meteor Swarm. There it is.
Smash hit.
Somebody once told me the world is good. No, copyright.
While here, also talking about smash hits, smash that subscribe button and the like button while you're down there. But Lee, you see, the thing is your spell is countered by invulnerability, which is my spell.
Oh, no.
I am just immune to all damage until the spell ends. Yeah, it's concentration, but I have a feeling I'm not going to have to make any saving throws. I guess unless someone casts Sleet Storm.
Oh, no.
Which is silly, but
oh,
immune to all damage. You're just immune to all damage until the spell ends, and it lasts for 10 minutes. So, better have a force cage in your pocket, because you're not going to be happy to see me.
I just imagine you're fighting Vecna at the end of the campaign. Meteor Swarm. You're stood around there alone. It's the sole survivor standing amongst your party like, ha ha, I beat you. And he's like, I just gotta wait 10 minutes and you're dead.
Sort of like in, I mixed them up. What was episode 8 where Kylo Ren's just shooting Luke with like, more. That must have been like, what is this? What is this? He's invulnerable.
The Force goes. Oh.
Well,
Good. Immune to all damage.
yeah, that's hard to argue. Isn't it? Yeah, that's true. It is one person.
Looking out for number 1.
How many people do you have to make invulnerable? You know?
Well, with a Meteor Swarm, a lot.
Depends on your goals.
Winning this argument is my goal, which brings us, Josh, to what?
It brings us to the end, and I can't make the decision on who has a better list of spells here, because I'm not impartial. I am the word that Lee forgot. I am biased here. So that means who has this responsibility? Who do we pass this to make the decision? You, the viewer. It's up to you who has the better spell list. Let us know. Do you think you like Jake's options or Lee's options? Comment down below, and we'll have to decide on a prize for the winner or punishment for the loser, something along those lines. But if you enjoyed this video and you want more of it, there is an almost exact replica on the J&J channel, J&J Tabletop. where we talk about utility spells. So definitely check that out. And thanks for hanging out today.
Bananas.